Hello everybody and welcome back. I am KRX and we are continuing on with our complete beginner guide for Europa Universalis 4. We are playing as Brandenburg and this is with all of the DLCs. We have, and this is updated, right? We're playing with the Leviathan DLC, lots of new bits of content and features and options added with that, and the new 1.31 patch. So this is updated as of 2021. And of course, we do have mostly up-to-date, minus Leviathan, playthroughs for Castile and Ottomans with all the other DLCs. And we have a number of DLCs with nations that are not, that are vanilla, basically base game. Portugal, France. France is releasing, just released, so that's updated with 3.31. England and Muscovy as well, that are a little bit older, but still mostly up-to-date. And we are actually completed our first war. We're at 100% war score, and we're basically just going to sort of talk through how we resolve this war, how we get out of this war, how we get what we want. It's very hard to see because of the coloration here, but there are little stripes here on this land to say that we've occupied it. And if we click on this, we can just see that it's occupied by you, by Brandenburg. So this land has been occupied. Our troops are sitting on it. Everything's all good. We've sieged down the capital of Magdeburg. So we are going to be just fine. Down here, we've 100%ed them. They are unconditionally surrendering. And we need a diplomat. We can't send a peace agreement until we have a diplomat. So we need to pull back one of these people that we were buttering up here. It looks like the Palatinate should be voting for us. That's good. Cologne is voting for us. We're voting for ourselves. And it looks like Austria is only getting one vote from Saxony. We do need to continue to butter up Saxony. Why they're not voting for us, I'm not particularly sure. Have we lost a royal? No, I don't know. They must be allied to Austria as well. Yeah, they're allied to Austria too. So Austria is working on buttering them up. We need to keep buttering these guys up if we can. Oh no, they're not allied to Austria. What the heck? Why are they preferring Austria over us? They're backing the following reforms. They prefer Austria because relations, a large nation in the empire. I guess we don't count as a large nation. Imperial authority. Austria has tons of legitimacy and diplomatic reputation. Prestige is actually a big factor. Our prestige is negative right now, but hopefully we can bring that back. Ending this war positively, winning this war should increase our prestige, and that might actually help us out a little bit. So let's get a diplomat back. We know that both these nations are primed to vote for us here. And guys, if you guys are just joining us for some reason, like you're haven't seen some of the other episodes, make sure to check out the playlist link down below, and that'll get you going on in the right order with episode number 1. So that's good. In fact, actually, it's not a bad idea just to look around a little bit too and just see England is being taken over by rebels, it seems. France is actually taking some land back from England. It looks like the Teutonic Order are still in their war against Denmark, and Denmark seems to be winning the war, but I don't know if they've gotten through here. Looks like Denmark is, Holstein is sieging down this province here. As you can see, the Holstein troops here, and Holstein is vassal of Denmark, so presumably they're coming through, and they're working on the Teutonic Order a little bit. It'll be interesting, because we want to take this land for ourselves, right? And we're not worried that Denmark will take it, because it's too far away from their country for them to take it, but they've sieged it for now. I'm kind of curious, actually. If we go to the ledger, and we go to armies, we go to, we find the Teutonic Order here. So clearly I'm not remembering how to spell Teutonic. There we go. They still have 11,000 troops and a good manpower. We, of course, have burned through most of our manpower. And they have a slightly higher force limit, so it'll be interesting to see. More cavalry. We have a slightly bigger army as it is, but again, the manpower is a big difference there. So we really need Denmark to kind of come and sweep over them and beat up their nation a little bit and drain their manpower. We need the Teutonic Order to get into some engagements, is what we need. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully that continues on. Hopefully that war just keeps going and going and going. Yeah, they're barely winning it right now. They're only at +1 war score out of 100. So this war is going to go on for years, which is good. We want that to really drag on. In fact, the Livonian Order is actually doing well up here in Sweden. This is going to be a messy war. This is going to be a very messy war. Denmark actually loves us. Denmark legitimately loves us. So we could even ally Denmark. But we already have all of our allies, including Austria and Cologne, Palatinate, and Saxony. We have all of the allies that we can have right now, unless we wanted to go over that limit. Denmark, Denmark's kind of cool, but they're already tied up in stuff that we don't want to get tied up in with as well. Livonian Order actually wants military access to us. That could actually help Denmark get around, so we'll give it to Livonian Order. That'll give it to Denmark by proxy. Yeah, it looks like Magdeburg is trying to give us a peace deal. No, we're going to set our own peace agreement. We're going to do our own peace deal. So let's open up the war screen. Let's go to here. And we want this province. This province is an important center of trade. It's a fort. We don't want to have to siege this fort over and over and over again. We want this province for ourselves. So we need to look at what is this going to... In fact, we could be like, why not just take all the land? Well, we don't have a justified reason to take this land, but we could check and see what that would cost us. So if we took this land, this is what the war goal was for. This is what we announced the war would be about. So this is what other nations are expecting us to take. We have to pay no diplomatic power because we don't have to convince anyone that this is just. If we were taking this, we don't have a claim to this land. We'd have to convince people on the fly that, hey, you know, it's okay that we're taking this land. We're getting a little bit of prestige as it is. We're using 13% of the war score, which is 100%. So we actually could take way more than this. We could potentially take their money. We could force them to pay war reparations. We could humiliate them. We could do a number of things to the nation that could get us up to closer to 100% war score, so we're not wasting any of our effort. But I'm just looking at this right now. This aggressive expansion right here is an important factor. And it looks like we could actually go all the way up to, if we took both their provinces, it'd be 32. 32 is not too bad, but that's quite high. That will be basically a negative opinion bomb on everybody around us. So everybody around us will have that much negative opinion will be applied to them, in the sense that they'll think that we've aggressively expanded our nation as a warmonger. However, they don't typically tend to turn hostile to us until it's over 50. So if this was over 50, it would actually be warning us that a potential coalition might form against us. But at 18, we're totally fine. And this does burn off over time. This will decay over time. So, and we'll see how this actually affects the nations around us. Saxony probably will be a little bit upset, but because Saxony has allied us, they're actually probably going to take less than 18. So your allies tend to take less because your allies are totally fine with you conquering and getting stronger. It's going to cost us 10% overextension. This is something that we'll have to administratively integrate this province into our nation to get rid of that so it's no longer overextension, but instead part of our core country. That takes a few years, and we'll see how that integration works. And that integration costs a certain amount of administrative power. Right now we have 400 administrative power. It's going to cost us 100 administrative power to take this province. It would cost us 175 to take both. So that's pretty expensive. So now we've learned that not only is administrative power important for technologies and developing our land and infrastructure at home and increasing our base tax, but it's also important for taking land. When we take new land, we need to pay administrative power to integrate it into our country, and that's what it's warning us about here. If we were just going to take one province, we could leave the other province behind. It won't have a fortification on it, which is quite nice, and then we could try to take some other things, because if we take their entire country, they won't give us war reparations because they'll cease to exist, right? They will cease to exist, so a lot of this stuff here will get grayed out because they won't even exist anymore. But we could have them steer trade to us. We could have them transfer the trade power. But actually, one thing I want to do is humiliate. Because we actually have a goal, and I could show you guys where this is because we haven't talked about it. We have a goal to humiliate a rival. You can only humiliate rivals. And the point of this is this will actually give us a bunch of power projection. We haven't talked about power projection and what this does, but this is actually going to be quite nice. We could take war reparations, so they'll pay us for our trouble. We can pillage their capital. This is new with the Leviathan DLC. Although this is their capital here, so we're taking the capital for ourselves. I don't think we want to pillage the land that we're taking from them. Unless it would just pillage this. I'm actually not sure how that would work. I don't think we're going to worry about that too much, to be honest. But I do like taking that option sometimes, except in this case, we're going to take their capital from them. We can also hit this little button up here to get money. And we could just sort of like crank it up as far as they'll let us. up to 25% war score. So we can take up to 25% war score money. And this is based on how rich the nation is. If this was France, this would be hundreds of ducats. Because it's just this tiny little Brandenburg, it's just going to be 40 ducats. But hey, 40 ducats will help us a little bit. So we're taking their money. We could actually have them annul their treaties. We could have them break their alliance with Brunswick. But to be fair, I'm not really worried about Brunswick anymore. I think in a second war, this would be smoother. We've taken out the fortification. They have less defenses. A second war against these guys would be even easier than the first war. I don't think we need to do the Brunswick alliance, break the Brunswick alliance. I think we'll just leave them with Brunswick, stick them with that guy, and that way they won't try to seek out other alliances where they could end up allying Saxony or allying Austria or something that could be much worse. So we like the fact that they're allied to Brunswick right now. The thing is, though, keep in mind that the truce that we set with this nation, so it'll take 14 years for us to be able to attack them again, because we'll have a 14-year truce, and it tells us right here, it gives us in the summary, that the truce will last until 1464. And the reason why I know it's 14 years without reading this is because it's a 90% war goal, or war score, peace offer. It's always 5 years plus 1 year for every 10 war score used. So we're using 9 war score, or sorry, 90% war score. Divide that by 10, that's 9. So that's 9 years plus the 5 years as a base. So that's 14 years truce. So that's going to be quite a while, to be honest. But let's send this, and let's get it done. Hey, we've taken Magdeburg. Now this is actually a woods province, so this could be a good defensive fort. We might actually want to keep this one around and pay for it. Alternatively, we could either just temporarily mothball it. We could even destroy it. We could get rid of this fort if we wanted to by opening up the building tab. We can see the fort here is a building that's been built in this province, and we could destroy this because it's costing us 1 ducat a month to pay for this. Or we could just mothball it and pay half cost. Now let's just mothball it for now. We'll wait till we go to war. So it's going to make us a little bit of money. It's a little bit, we don't have a huge amount of money, but we got some. These troops are black flagged. They were in enemy territory when the war ended, so we need to bring them back home. Black flag just means they can't engage. They're not useful. They can't do anything until they step back into your own territory. So I can move these black flag troops all the way to France if I wanted to, but they can't do anything over here. They have to come back to our own territory before they're useful. That's a sort of an anti-exploit system that they added in to the game at one point. So we have a new banner that's popped up here. Some of these disputed succession, yeah, that's nice. We don't really care too much about that. Truces we know we have truces with these guys. We can look at those by clicking on the nation, just hovering over this white flag. That's an easy way to reference the truce. We know it's going to be 1464. We know this one's probably going to be closer to like 5 or 6 years away. Oh, it's actually 9 years away from Brunswick. 9 years away from Brunswick. Okay. We don't need to see that right now. We know we can't afford the advisors, right? The advisors are a little bit too expensive for us based on how much money we're making. So we can get rid of that banner. Oh, we have provincial unrest. That's interesting. There's a bunch of things we need to talk about, actually. We have exiled troops. So we know about that. We're moving them back so that we'll right-click that. This says we have some of our provinces lack cores. This is contributing to overextension. If we click on this, it brings up our stability and expansion tab where we're going to see a lot of things now. We have war exhaustion. So throughout that war, we actually gained some war exhaustion. This is increasing national unrest. It's reducing or increasing the time it takes to build, reducing siege effectiveness, all kinds of stuff. And now that we're at peace, this should be decaying at 0.1 per month. It's saying because of attrition, it's not going down. That'll end now that the attrition will go away now that our troops will be at peace and they won't be on the war path. So that attrition will go away, and this should start decaying by 0.1 per month. So in a couple years, this will be gone. We could pay diplomatic points to speed it down if we needed to, but I think right now it's fine. One thing it does do is it increases the core creation cost by 10%. So we're paying 9 extra admin points because of this war exhaustion. But I don't really need to spend 75 diplo power to get rid of 6 admin power. So I think it'll be cheaper just to core this as is. But it does say that we need to core this province, make it into a core, because we have 10% overextension. This land uncored is contributing 10% to that 10% overextension. If we hover this, all kinds of bad stuff. If this gets over 100%, it's like doomsday for the country. It is literally like you'll get nasty events that will try to tear your country apart. Rebels will be popping up and they'll be trying to tear your country apart. Extra rebels on top of the normal rebels. This also increases yearly corruption. It reduces trade power. It hits your diplomatic reputation. It hurts your relationships over time. It all kinds of just terrible stuff, and increases just national unrest in general. 100% is when this gets really scary. At every time you end a war and you take a bunch of land, we only took one province, but if we took like 4 or 5 provinces, having this be at 40-50% is totally normal. It's totally fine, but we do need to core this to get this done. And this will take about actually it's only going to take a year and a half, because this is of the German culture group. This land that we took is of our culture group. Typically, if you take land that is not of your culture group, it'll take 3 years. So it takes a few years for that to burn down. So that's a little bit of a if you do multiple wars back to back, sometimes you can find yourself getting over 100% on this. So you do need to kind of chill a little bit at that point. Let these cores come in. So it is important to get the cores to come in. There we go. So that's getting cored. If we hit the back, if we look at just, that's in the manage. Like that's if we hit the manage over extension, it brings up the cores, the uncored provinces. But if we just go back to the normal screen here, it shows rebellions. And we can see that now there's actually going to be unrest in this new province that we took. These people here, we've taken this from their own nation, right? These people here, even though they're of our culture and religion, they probably won't mind in a few decades. They won't care that they're part of our country. But the people that lived here actually were proud to be Magdeburgians, you know what I mean? Or however you'd say that. I apologize, guys. But basically, they were proud to be part of this country. We've now yanked them back. And these are just citizens, right? These are just regular people. They didn't choose to become part of another country. So there's a level of separatism. They want to secede from our nation and go back to Magdeburg, the actual people that live here. And that will go away over time. You can see in 30 years, that separatism will fully decay, because it's half a point per year. It's 0.5 per year. But right now we're getting 15 separatism, which is unrest in that localized province that's creating all those modifiers there: war exhaustion, overextension, all these different factors there. And then some positive ones like legitimacy. We have a high legitimacy. We have a high tolerance for the Catholic faith. Those are reasons that actually keeping them at ease, right? Those are forces that are trying to keep them, wanting not to rebel. But basically what I'm trying to say is this unrest effectively is going to cause a rebellion here of these people rising up and wanting to go back to their other country and live in their other country. And in 30 years, this will completely go away. However, this 13% right now, we can see, if we hover over, it'll actually give us a lot of information in the stability tab here. And this banner gets us right there, because it's warning us that we have unrest, provincial unrest. It tells us exactly there's going to be 7,000 rebels. There's going to be 7,000 separatist rebels when they rise up. So this tells us ahead of time exactly what to expect. So it's not a guessing game. There will be 7,000 separatist rebels. If we hover over here, it says Magdeburg. So it's going to be in this province. We know where they're going to be. We know how many there's going to be. The only thing we need to figure out is when is it going to be. And we can figure that out as well. But the thing is, we have 12,000 troops. So quite literally, when we're expecting this rebellion, we can actually intercept it with our army and crush it. So we will crush this rebellion with our army. There's other ways to handle them as well. You can provoke the rebellion to have them trigger sooner. You can use military points to harsh treatment, to basically go crack down on them before they rebel, to push them down. And you can also, you can accept their demands. You can actually just give this province back to Magdeburg. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to give it back. We took it for a reason. So 13% unrest. That doesn't mean that there's a 13% chance that the rebels just pop up. That's how it used to be years and years ago, but they've improved the rebel system immensely. What this is they need to build, just like we build spy networks in countries and we spend that spy network to do covert actions, the rebels need to build up rebellion progress. They need this 0% right here that shows, they need that to get to 100%. But there's a 13% chance per month, 13% based on the unrest in the province, per month to add 10%. So it goes up in ladder steps of 10% per. So they have to trigger that 13%. They have to hit that die roll. 13% they have to get that result every month. It'll check for that 13%, and it'll go up 10% if they succeed in that month's check, percentage check. In fact, it's estimating it'll take 7 years for this to actually trigger. 7 years, that'll take forever. So we're not really that worried about this right now. In fact, it'll warn us. It'll actually warn us when this gets to 80%. And then we start to know, okay, 80% it's going to happen soon, right? So this will warn us again when it gets much, much closer. But we can also keep an eye on it over here in the outliner where it says rebel factions, 0%, the Magdeburgian separatists. Perfect. Now we ended up humiliating our rival. Why did we do that exactly? They were a rival. We had the option to humiliate them. We can't humiliate just regular nations, but rivals we can in war. That gave us a bunch of power projection. Power projection is kind of like prestige. It's kind of like prestige. It decays down to 0. You can't have negative, though. You get this by basically... a lot of it is just sort of like bashing into your rivals a lot. It's just displaying force. It's just a projection of power. It's exactly what it sounds like. And we can get morale of armies. We can get global trade power. We can get yearly prestige from this and yearly legitimacy. Lots of really good just basic modifiers. So we got 30 of this from humiliating them. And it says down there, triumph over your rivals to gain power projection, basically. Enter wars against them, take their land, insult them, humiliate them, all this stuff. But what we really want to do is we want to keep it over 25, because if we keep it over 25, we get an extra general without upkeep. Kind of cool. We're a small nation, so that doesn't matter as much. Later in the game, much more important. Even more important than that is if we keep power projection over 50, due to having at least 50 power projection, we're getting 1 administrative, 1 diplomatic, and 1 military skill per month. So our skills here are +1. Instead of getting 666, it's now 777. Because if you read right there in some of the modifiers, at least 50 power projection +1. That is incredibly useful. Incredibly useful. We can see that we're losing about 3 per year, though. So over time, the declared war on Magdeburg, that's going to decay. Humiliated Magdeburg, that's going to decay. Conquered provinces from them, that will decay. Although we can insult people and do other things as well to make sure that that stays above 50. So we really, honestly, if we can keep this above 50, it's great. Humiliation is one of the best ways to do that. We can also go to, I think Lüneburg is a rival of ours, right? We can go and we can send them an insult, and that can actually give us some power projection as well. So wait for it to decay right below 50%, then we'll insult Lüneburg, and then, you know, try to keep it afloat there. Another reason why we wanted to humiliate them, and this is just because I've played the game before, and of course as a new player, you won't know to look for this, but this Age of Discovery here is actually a button. And we have not clicked on this yet. But there's actually, within this Age of Discovery, for the next, until we move into the Age of Reformation, which should start at about 1510. It's like 1510, 1515-ish. So as we turn the century, we'll be moving into the Age of Reformation. And then that 100 years will be defined by this age, and then eventually the Age of Absolutism, and then eventually the Age of Revolutions. So there's these different ages that we'll be progressing through the game. There's different bonuses that we can earn, age bonuses that we can earn. Eventually we could maybe start a golden age, a golden era in one of these ages. But essentially we have different goals. And the way that we earn these bonuses is by building up splendor. And splendor is accumulated by completing goals in the age. So because we just completed Humiliate Rival, if we wait a month, let's actually wait a month here. Let's make sure our diplomat's not doing anything too lazy here. Actually, we should probably build up a spy network on Lüneburg so we can attack them. Oh, we've eclipsed Magdeburg. We've actually fully eclipsed them. So now we have 63 power projection. We need another rival. Because we've taken land from them and we beat them up a lot, we've eclipsed them. Infantry cost, no. Iron ore quality problems. So let's pause and go back to here. Let's check the splendor now. See, now we're getting fully fulfilled objectives +2. So we're getting 3 splendor per month, and we need 800 splendor in order to get something like, oh look, justified wars, less aggressive expansion impact from war. Or we could get cavalry to infantry ratio +20%. Or we could get, improved war taxes. War taxes cost -100%. I really like this one. It makes war taxes free. Instead of having to pay power points, you can actually get it for free and save power points but make a lot of money while at war. So being at war is actually like an economic boon almost when you have improved war taxes. But that's because we humiliated a rival. So we had a goal to humiliate a rival through a peace treaty. There's a goal to be present on 2 continents. That'd be kind of hard to do since this is all Europe. So it's going to be a little bit tricky for us to get to a second continent unless we wanted to colonize the New World or something, right? A large city. If we had a large city, if we own and control a core province with at least 30 development, hey, how's Brandenburg looking these days? Berlin, I mean. Berlin's 16. So if we got this up to 30, if we got this to 30, we would have a large city. So that'd be another objective complete. Control centers of trade. We already want to control these, but only 5 provinces with level 2 or higher centers of trade. So that's something we could work on. We have none right now. It has to be level 2 though, right? It has to be level 2. So this is, of course, this one's level 1, but we can upgrade this for 200 gold to a level 2, and then we'd have that one. And we know that Magdeburg has a emporium as well, and we could upgrade that to level 2 to a market town. So we have 2 of those, it looks like, from what I can remember. We have 2 of those right now, but we need to make them level 2, and then we'd have to go collect 3 more, which could be kind of hard to do, to be honest. That one's a very tricky one to do in 50 short years. You need to be pretty aggressive to get that one done and be making a lot of money. Discover America. So if we had explorers and we sent them to the New World and we discovered America, that would be kind of, that would be something we could complete in this objective. Embrace the Renaissance. That's something that we're absolutely going to want to do, right? Hold 3 thrones. So anyways, these are just goals that we can work on, right? Extra goals on top of everything else that we're trying to juggle and think about. Those are extra goals that we can do. So we're at peacetime. We can figure out what to do with the army. We can either not pay them or we can drill them. Let's start drilling them. Let's just drill them and get some training on these troops. It says we need another rival. We have too few rivals. The Teutonic Order is probably definitely the one that we want to rival. We are definitely going to be attacking the Teutonic Order soon, so that'll be good. Although Brunswick has rivaled us, so we never rivaled Brunswick. We rivaled Stettin. That's right. That's right. But I want to take these provinces from Teutonic Order first. I want to get these provinces for the Teutonic Order, and then we'll have claims on Stettin for free, and then we can attack them for free. We're trying to build up a spy network on the Teutonic Order so we have a just reason to go to war with them, because right now we don't have a claim on their land, which is kind of interesting considering it's apparently our land that we leased to them, historically, I guess. So we're drilling our troops. We're kind of just letting time flow here. We're kind of hoping that Denmark comes over here and really beats these guys up. Holstein is here, but it doesn't look like they're actually able to. They don't have enough troops to see. They're just sitting there taking attrition. Oh, Poland has attacked. I repeat, Poland is attacked. Poland is engaging the Teutonic Order. Teutonic Order is getting decimated right now. Decimated on all sides. Holy cow. Stettin's involved in that too. I'm almost tempted to sneak in and get something against Stettin here. Foreign inventor. Get some innovation. Poland's going to be upset with us. Poland really loves us right now. I mean, this is like we could get an alliance with Poland. I don't want to risk any opinion with Poland. So we're just going to take some prestige rather than getting the innovation. Innovation is something that's very hard to maintain. It is related. I'll just mention it since there was an event about it. It reduces the power cost of stuff if you have innovation, but it's a very small benefit, and it's very hard to maintain this. It goes all the way up to 100. It is nice if you can do it, and you basically get innovation by being on the cutting edge of technologies and ideas and philosophies. Essentially, and it decays down to 0 like everything else. It's just a constant battle to keep it up. We'll give Mecklenburg military access because Poland's going to crush these guys. It's not even going to be a problem at all. Poland has the junior partner with Lithuania. We, honestly, allying Poland would be like a booyah situation right now. The problem is we have a little bit too many allies as it is. Man, allying Poland would be huge. They haven't even rivaled Austria, so Austria wouldn't even mind. Bohemia and Denmark would be upset about it, but that's interesting. I think we definitely want to keep Poland, keep them happy if we can. I think we might be attacking the Teutonic Order here soon, guys. especially if Poland engages them and sort of weakens their military. Okay, we've improved the relationship with the Palatinate to the max that it will go. Again, you can get up to 200 plus 200, but the improved relationship stat, if we see that there, improved relationships plus 100. That is so that once you get to 100, the diplomat just comes. You get an option to bring the diplomat home. So we're going to bring the diplomat home. Now we notice that for whatever reason, Saxony is not voting for us. It's a little odd to me. So we need to kind of be buttering up Saxony. We're trying to get spy networks with the Teutonic Order. We're very close to being able to get a claim on this. Oh, we can get it now. Wait, why is it so cheap? Oh, that's right, because they're not in the HRE. They're not an HRE member. So we have the claim on the Teutonic Order. Perfect. We're ready to attack them at a moment's notice. The only problem is here is this is technically controlled by Denmark right now. So if we declared war on the Teutonic Order, we wouldn't even be able to siege this stuff until Denmark got out of the war with them. Clergy loses some influence. They're losing a lot of influence, it seems. So we can go to the estates and see what's going on here. Equilibrium is at 57. So we do want to seize more land from them, but if we did it right now, they would rebel against us. It would put them below 30% loyalty because it's a minus 20. So we need their loyalty at 50 to be enough of a buffer to seize land. We can get 5 loyalty from them by doing the Diet, but 5 would still not get us to 50. Oh, these guys are max. These guys are max. We need to give them something else. What else can we give to the burghers? What can we give to them? Well, we could give them commercial advisory boards. We could do the prestige thing as well, but that would cost us a little bit of money. Yeah, we need to give them a little bit more oomph here. Commercial advisory boards. We don't want to give them the monopoly on the textiles. So we lose stability cost modifier. I mean, heck, I don't know. Do we want to gain stability right now before we do this? Kind of no, just because we kind of need we need our points for technologies. We're getting behind on technologies, so I don't think we're going to be doing any stability cost bumping unless we get a bad event that reduces our stability 0. We were not going to want to be at 0 stability. So we're kind of just hanging out here. We can attack the Teutonic Order kind of whenever we want, but I think we're going to wait until some of these other nations here get beat up by, like we can see that Stettin's getting beat up by Lithuania. We can see that presumably Mecklenburg's going to lose their enthusiasm, and we might be able to attack the Teutonic Order just by ourselves. We also want to make sure the Teutonic Order themselves is getting ravaged too. But guys, I think we've ended the war with our own first war. We're looking to start our second war. We're trying to manage our power points for technologies and also worry about the fact that Renaissance is spreading through Europe. And it started in Rome. And it's going to be a while before it pops up here. So there's a number of things that we're kind of like concerning ourselves with here, at peace and preparing for war. But thanks everybody for being here during this episode. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the comments. And I will absolutely respond to all the comments, whether they're questions or not. But thanks everybody for being here. I'll see you guys in the next episode.